Hello, everyone. Welcome to this month's CPO series hosted by Dragonboat. We're thrilled to have you here with us today. I want to just say a few words about the CPO series. On a monthly basis, we host webinars to bring together our product leader community. So each month we invite top CPOs and product leaders to share insights on the latest in product management and operations. My name is Alyssa Vaz, and I'll be your host today. Before we kick off, I do want to mention a few things. So first of all, this is a half-an-hour session, and it'll be recorded and available on demand later with our other webinars at dragonboat.io. Second, if you have a question during the presentation, please submit those using the Q&A function. We'll take them live during the chat today. We won't do the usual Q&A after. We want it to be a little bit more fluid. So finally, as you probably know, Dragonboat is a SaaS platform that enables product leaders to accelerate outcomes. So we hope you can check out dragonboat.io to learn more. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce today's guest, Connie Kwan. Welcome, Connie.
Thank you, Alyssa. Really great to be here. Let's jump right in, shall we? I'm going to screen share here. Screen to share. All right. It's working?
Yep.
You can see my screen?
Yes, go ahead.
I couldn't hear you.
Yep, we can see your screen.
I think that was a yes. Okay, excellent. All right. Hey, everybody. We're here today to learn about how to 10x your impact as a product manager or product leader with storytelling. So let's jump right in. Give me a signal on the chat or raise your hand. How have you ever pitched the same project the same way to two different people and you got very different results? Why does it happen? We're going to find out today, and I'm going to teach you a system that I teach in my storytelling class called 4S so that you can get a thumbs up every time with every stakeholder. Hello, my name is Connie Kwan. I studied computer engineering back in the day, and then I went into product management. Now, it turns out engineering doesn't teach me anything about what I need in product management, which is to tell stories. So in my career, I have launched 30 products. I have told thousands of stories to get all the stakeholders on board. And of course, as a product person, the challenge is not only do I have to speak the language of engineering, I also have to speak the language of sales and marketing and sometimes HR and finance and be able to bring them all together to move towards the same vision. So we're going to get a system today of how we can take that, how we can do a better job of making that message hit home. So where can you 10x your impact with storytelling? There are three main areas: communicate complex ideas, inspire and motivate teams, and gain stakeholder buy-in. Now, three people that I worked with comes to mind. The first is Jennifer, who is a product manager, and she's really good at communicating complex ideas. She explained the difference between containerization and virtualization to me using just one metaphor. And I see C-level folks go to her to get things explained. She gets everyone up to speed really quickly and efficiently, and that's her special power. That's her 10x. Jeff, he's a leader who's really great at motivating teams. I remember one time, Jeff sent an email out to the whole team, and he said, he's a marathon runner, right? So he said, you know, running the marathon isn't really about the actual marathon. It's much more about all of the training that led up to it. You know, every 5 a.m. wake up call, every, last mile where his leg was cramping up. And this email that he sent, he's saying this email is the same thing. This email is the marathon, but really the immensity of this email is all of the training, all of the hard work that the whole team has put in to make this email possible. And so in this one email, he told a story. He instilled great pride in his whole team of over 30 PMs, designers, and engineers. That's his 10x. He inspires with his stories. And finally, Preeti, a VP of product whom I worked with, she tells stories to get buy-in. I see her sit down with the executive team, and she convinces the whole team to get excited about technical debt. Technical debt. She connects that back to real benefits for users, and she gets everybody excited. She gets stakeholder buy-in. She gets projects greenlighted. That's her 10x. So what are ways where you can use storytelling in your work to 10x your work? Now, why does storytelling work? Storytelling actually connects our brains. And here's how that happens. Imagine you're watching a boxing match of your favorite boxer, right? She's going, boom. Oh, she got hit in the face. Ah, what's your reaction? You go, ooh, right? What happened? You didn't get hit in the face. Why are you reacting this way? So it turns out mirror neurons is at play. Princeton professor Yuri Hansen put his grad students into MRI machines. He put one grad student in and said, can you tell a story about your high school prom? So he recorded that message from her, and he also recorded her brainwaves. And then he put a different grad student into the machine, and he played back that tape about the prom story. And he also captured the other students' brainwaves. And then he looked at the images together, and he noticed something. They are actually matching in all the areas where the brain lights up as the grad student told her story about the prom. The subsequent students who listened to her story also had the same brain areas light up as the story progressed. So it's as if they are having a mind meld moment. It's as if the other students are stepping into her shoes and really experiencing her life for a moment. And that's why storytelling is so powerful, because if you tell a good story, then people will actually step into your shoes and understand what's going on. So how do we do that every single time? There's a difference between feeling the pain when you see someone get hit, that's very visceral, right? Versus a mind melding on a project direction or vision, a much more abstract thing. So you need a system that helps you confidently connect with every stakeholder that you're working with. So you need a system, and this system is going to be for storytellers. So let me share with you how this system works. There are 4 storytellers, and they're spread across an emotional spectrum. The ones that are like you are going to be easier to connect with. And the ones who are unlike you on the other end or next to yours are going to be harder. It's going to take some work. And the work is to cross the bridge to them, to cross the bridge and say, hey, look, I understand how you want to see the world. I'm going to reposition my story in a way that you can understand it very quickly, very efficiently. So that way they don't have to cross the bridge to us. That's a good storyteller, right? Someone who can cross that bridge to make that connection. Now, these 4 storytellers are, you have the champion. The champion moves you with passion. So think about Tony Robbins. He shows up on stage, he's larger than life. And then 5 minutes later, everyone's clapping and cheering for him. I don't know if you've seen any tapes of Tony Robbins, but it's a spectacle. He runs on stage, people are so excited to see him because he has this champion vibe. He has this passion that gets everybody riled up. Then you have sage. A sage moves you with authenticity. Think about Oprah. The way she makes you feel like you're having an intimate conversation with her, even if you're sitting in a crowd of her audience. Right? She has this magic, like she's giving you a hug, this authenticity that she brings. Then you have your visionary. Your visionary moves you with inspiration. Think about Steve Jobs. He throws a number up there like 10,000, and you're like, whoa, what's 10,000 what? And then Steve makes it come to life for you by connecting that back to something that you care about. And then you have the professor. And the professor moves you with knowledge. Think about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, where every conversation is a learning experience. There's a lot of respect for the depth that a professor brings into the room. So we'll find out which one you are. Before we do that, I'm going to show you a demo because seeing is believing. So I'm going to pitch 4 different stakeholders, right, in a fictional scenario. And you'll get to see how I alter how I connect with that person based on which storyteller type they are. So, all right, here we go. We're going to try and get a decision made on a specific product trade-off. And I'm going to meet Paula, the professor, first. And Paula is going to want to see hard proof, right? She's a professor, so she's going to want to know details. And what I'm going to have to do with Paula is stay logical and objective with her. So here comes Paula. Hello, Paula. Hi, Connie. How are you today? Oh, really excellent, Paula. I'm working on something called Project Alpha. Have you heard about it? No, I have not. What is Project Alpha? Project Alpha cuts our fetch time in half. Today, our customers are spending over 5,000 hours waiting for the data to fetch. And so they're wasting this time. And we can save this time with Project Alpha. We can also save $300 a month in operating costs when we ship Alpha. And after we do that, we'll be the fastest in the industry. Interesting. This fetch time that you're talking about, is that on an average basis, or is like per fetch? The calculation was done on a average basis, actually. And larger fetches, we find, do tend to have more savings. So if we have customers that use more, that fetches more, then they'll actually see a greater improvement in their fetch time. Interesting. So for the customers that are coming in the next 6 months, do you see the average that you calculated now? Is that going to be going up or down? It's pretty close. We're probably seeing a 10% swing potentially, but it's not a huge difference. It's not a huge variance between the average fetch time value. Okay, excellent. How long is it going to take to ship this Alpha? It's going to be 3 months if we can delay the technical debt that we currently have on the roadmap, but 5 months if we want a parallel path. But given that we can become the fastest in the industry, I think that's a huge selling message for our sales team, and they're very keen to get this project shipped sooner rather than later. And I'm going to need your approval to delay that technical debt. Okay. Well, I want to see the full impact of this. Why don't you send the report out to the tech leads so I can meet with them, and we'll take a decision tomorrow on this. Very good, Paula. I'll definitely do that for you. All right. So that's Paula. And I'm going to now pitch to Vince, the visionary. Now, you can see how Paula needed a lot of details. I want you to notice what Vince is looking for. Vince is going to want to see the impact of what this project is, and he wants to get inspired. So let's see. Here we go. Let me get myself ready. All right. Hi, Vince. Oh, hi, Connie. What are you working on? I'm working on Project Alpha. I see. Tell me more. Imagine being the fastest in the industry. Our data fetch today is wasting our customers 5,000 hours a month. And when we ship Project Alpha, we're going to become the fastest in the industry. We also have operational savings, but we're going to become the fastest in the industry. I can see that. I like the time savings, and I can imagine 5 of my accounts flipping if we can get that Alpha shipped. They've been complaining about that particular problem. Okay, what's the trade-off here? How long is it going to take to ship Alpha? Well, it'll take 3 months if we direct our resources there, or we can parallel path with the current roadmap with technical debt, and that will take us 5 months. But I recommend the 3 months, and I'd like to get your approval for that. I see. Okay. Alpha is really critical here. I can definitely see where it's going to really change our business. So let's do this. Send me the details, send it to the team. We'll make a meeting tomorrow and we'll make that decision. Excellent. Thanks, Vince. Sweet. Now we have Sarah. and Sarah's the sage. Sarah's all about connecting. So what I have to do is paint a picture for her that's very personal. So let me see. All right, here we go. Hello, Sarah. Hello, Connie. Hello. Oh, I'm excellent, Sarah. I'm working on something called Project Alpha. Oh, is that right? What is Project Alpha then? Project Alpha, remember last week when you were doing some data fetch and it was taking so long that you had to go out for a lunch break? Well, when we ship Project Alpha, it's going to speed it up. It's going to be twice as fast. So you just need to get some coffee and come right back. Oh, that's good. I think our customers would like this. How much time will it take to ship this alpha? It's going to take 3 months if we can delay the technical debt. And that's where I need you to come in and help us make that decision. If we want a parallel path, then it will take about 5 months. Okay. Okay, that's good. Well, let's do this. Let's meet tomorrow. Let's bring the team together and let's take a decision together. All right? Good to see you, Connie. Good to see you too, Sarah. All right. Finally, we have Charlie. Charlie is a champion, so we're going to need some big energy to get Charlie on board. He's going to really want to feel my passion for this Project Alpha. So here we go. Hello, Charlie. Howdy, Connie. What's going on today? I'm working on Project Alpha. Oh, really? Tell me more. Well, Project Alpha is going to make us twice as fast. Twice as fast, you say? I just closed a customer today. And yeah, a second customer I'm trying to close, they're saying, no, we're too slow. So tell me more. Yeah, so Alpha is going to make our data fetch twice as fast. So we'll be the fastest in the industry after this. But what's going to happen is we need to delay some technical debt to make it happen. Oh, is that right? How much faster is it again? Oh, it's twice as fast, right? Twice as fast. And then we also save some operational costs. So I recommend that we accelerate the building of Alpha and delay some of the other work that we're doing. Interesting. Twice as fast is good. Yeah, fastest in industry is good. I like this. I can sell this. Okay, let's do this. Let's bring the team together. Emergency meeting. Let's get this decision made because we absolutely need this to go out in order for us to sell the customers that are coming in right now. Can you get that arranged, please? Absolutely, Charlie. I'll get that done for you. All right. That's Charlie. So what do you think? Does that inspire you on how you might handle different stakeholders differently? Any thoughts? Please share in the chat so I can see what you're thinking. All right, with that, let's recap. So storytelling can 10x your impact. Effective storytelling is connecting to them, not requiring them to cross the bridge, but us crossing the bridge to them. There are 4 storytellers, and you can find out your own storyteller type here. So we have a little bit of time now for questions, and I can also take a volunteer on stage if anybody would like to get some free live coaching on your storytelling. We can bring a volunteer on. So I'm going to have you guys drop your questions in the chat, and we'll answer those questions along the way. And if anybody wants to volunteer, go ahead and I guess should they screen share or share the video? Or what do you want them to do, Alyssa?
So first, there's a few questions that came in. I guess I'm seeing them and maybe you're not. So I don't know if you want to go through them now, or we'd like to take a volunteer first.
If there's a volunteer, let's take a volunteer.
All right. So if anybody in the audience is interested in this free coaching opportunity that Connie is presenting, I'd love for you guys to raise your hand. And then what I'll do is I'll allow you to become a talking participant in the meeting. So if there's anybody that's interested in jumping in and trying to improve your pitch here,
what we'll do is have you give a 30-second pitch for your next storytelling opportunity. And then I'll give you 1 or 2 rounds of feedback depending on time, and you'll pitch it again. So simple thing. But if not, we will just do questions. That's fine too.
I see Paul Garcia that has his hand lifted. I'm not sure if that's from before or if this is for the pitch.
Go ahead and put him in.
Allow him to talk. All right.
Paul, are you here to volunteer, Paul? Or do you just have a question?
Maybe it was a question.
Maybe it's a question. All right.
Great. Let's give
good.
him a minute, and what I'll do is I'll read the
let's read
questions
some
that we
questions.
got in the Q&A. So, all right, great question. What are some approaches for fostering a culture of storytelling within a product team or organization?
What are some techniques for fostering storytelling? I've had teams come and take my 6-week class together, which helps them have this shared language. I think having some kind of shared language is really helpful, right? So whether it's my framework or someone else's framework, so you can take the quiz for free. So go ahead and just use that for your team to start with, right? So you can at least identify who in your team is a champion versus a visionary. And here's the trick, you guys. If you have a visionary in your team, in your peer team, and your CEO that you're pitching to is a visionary, sorry, did I say if you have a champion in your group and your CEO is a champion and you yourself are not, then guess what? You can take your presentation, have your champion peer look at it, give you some feedback so that you're more ready to pitch to another champion who's your stakeholder, right? Because often we don't see our own blind spots. So that's what the system lets you do, is have your team understand each other better, have this language, and be able to help each other out.
So we have another question. What strategies do you recommend to overcome resistance from stakeholders who may be resistant to data-driven storytelling?
Stakeholders who's resistant to
Resistant to
storytelling?
data-driven storytelling. I'm not sure if that's something
Yeah,
you've
and
come up with in the
maybe
past.
if you can elaborate a little bit, the person who asked the question, just drop a little bit more into the chat what
in
you
the
mean,
chat, that
and
would be
we'll
nice.
circle back to it.
Okay. All right. Can you share a specific example where data-driven storytelling impacted a product success or a major decision in your work?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, that's a good question about data. So using data to tell a story is really important. And that's particularly important for the professor end of the spectrum, right? So you, from the emotional end, you have champion, sage, and then visionary and professor are more logical end, storytellers, story receivers. So you want to bring that data in when you're pitching to the logical end 100% of the time. And being able to share data very succinctly and efficiently is excellent. So these are some screenshots I pulled from Dragon Boat of how it takes the data and creates images of them and creates really easy to digest formats so that when you walk into the room and you say 54%, what is that? That's the progress of our portfolio right now. And that's not great. We're looking for 80%, right? So you can immediately get someone, especially on the logical end, to take notice of what's going on. Now, if you're working with an emotional end stakeholder, then you need to reflect this bad situation of 54 instead of 80 in a more visceral emotion way. It has to show on your face, has to show in your emotion, has to show in your voice, in addition to showing the information. So that way they can really kind of feel the urgency of this problem. So yeah, 100%, you can show data that supports your point of view to help you bring that story to the fore. Yeah, you're on mute, Alyssa.
Yep, great. So I think you might have already answered this one, but somebody asked, what are the first steps you recommend to start integrating this approach? So it sounds like one of the first things they can do is take this quiz and participate in further.
Yeah, take the quiz. You know, it gives you free content on what your type is, what are ways. I'm working on a newsletter right now, so I can send weekly 2-minute reads to leaders who are trying to become story-led leaders. So, what are some ways to bring story into your work so that people really connect with you? It's a long journey. It's a lifelong journey for all of us. But the first step would be to find out more about yourself as a storyteller. Yeah.
Great. And then somebody commented that Connie is up for winning an Oscar for best interpretation. Well done. That was
Thank you.
Elena. Thank you,
you.
Elena. All right. So at this point, is there anybody else who has questions? It would be lovely to get insight on this from Connie live. Otherwise, what we can do is we can allow Connie to, if you guys want to connect with her on LinkedIn, we'll share her details, and you can do so after our event.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, so what I'll do is I will share my screen very quickly.
Stop my share.
Yep, that's all
You
right.
can do your wrap-up slide. Perfect.
Perfect. So if you guys do want to get in touch with Connie, we have her LinkedIn information available here. As well, you did see a slight teaser of Dragon Boat if you want to learn more about how you can support your storytelling with some data-driven decision-making frameworks and having everything there for the professor, for the visionary, and the others. Please do check us out and get a demo of Dragon Boat. You can scan the screen here, or you can use the URL that's on the screen to do so. So thank you very much, Connie. That was super fun to watch and very delightful, and definitely a lot of insights. So thank you, everybody, and stay tuned for the next month, the June CPO series.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.